welcome to The Reluctant Chef. This morning we are going to make a stir fry for breakfast, and I started out with some breakfast sausage. Now it's 2026 and we are going through our Fresh and Healthy series. So I picked Jones is the name brand here in New England, where all they had is like pork, salt, and water. You don't want to have any preservatives or any of the extra stuff that they put into stuff, which is not so great for your body. We've cut up some some red peppers, and I'm going to show you the Rapid Prep mandolin to do the potatoes and the onion. But first, I'm just going to take the sausage that I've already cooked out, and I'm going to leave the fat in there, and the fat's going to be used to cook the rest of our breakfast. And this is part of the new series of dishware that is going to be available through the end of February. So this is called our new mix and chop. I'll bring it over to you in just a second, but what you do is you can angle it a little bit to the side, and it has drainage holes so that not only can you scoop and mix up your hamburger, sausage, etc., but you can drain it from the fat, all with the same tool, which I think is fabulous. I love multi-tools where Pampered Chef has created something that you can use more than one way. So if you have specific tools that you own and you love, make sure you drop it in the comment section. I'd love to hear it. So I just turned the stove off for a second because I wasn't sure how long it would take me to get my camera up and running. So I'll turn this back on when we start with our onions and our peppers. We're going to add, I have some Brussels sprouts too, so I think I have Brussels sprouts and broccoli left from my last breakfast stir fry, so I may grab those as well. Remember, you're wanting to try to eat as much of the rainbow as you can. All right, so I'm going to turn that back on. So let me come closer so you guys can see the new mix and chop. So this is the new mix and chop, and see how it has the holes on the side and the angle of it? So you can scoop, tip, and it drains and then pop it out. Plus the angle on the bottom helps you to be able to break up the hamburger into bite-sized pieces. Gosh, I'm making a mess here. Okay, Rapid Prep. We'll put this in. Got some extra peppers that I cut up. All right, so Rapid Prep mandolin, fabulous tool for chopping, dicing, French frying, you name it. It's got two dials on the back. One is for the slice, so it's either a regular slice, a French fry slice, or a julienne peel. And then it has the numbers from 1 to 8. And we're just going to go ahead and slice these up. Now, you can, I normally do it on a French fry setting, but I did this one instead on the slice setting, and what's great about it is that it's coming out at the same thickness. I'm going to do the other one on French fry because that's what I really meant to do. There we go. Put it in here. Put it back in here. Fast that is to make homemade French fries. You can do them with sweet potatoes or regular potatoes, but they'll cook at the same time frame based on the thickness of them. So when I make breakfast, I'm making breakfast for 2 of us, but I'm doubling the quantity so that I don't have to cook breakfast tomorrow. So remember, when you're trying to eat fresh and healthy, there's a lot of prep work that you might need to do, so you're going to want to do your prep work once and eat more than one time. So I'm just going to slice these into French fry sizes because I am pampered, not perfect. And then I'll go ahead and slice my onions to get my onions cooking with my peppers. Now I am using, right now it's a russet potato. Often I'll do sweet potato, but if you've seen any of my recent posts, I've been doing the sweet potato with sauerkraut and avocados. So I'm going to mix it up and do some white potato today. Now, on Whole30, if you're doing the Whole30 detox, which is get all the inflammation out of your system, it is okay to eat potatoes. No rice, no grains, no beans, no sugar, no dairy, but it is totally okay to eat potatoes, which actually is one of my favorites anyway, and it makes me happy that I have a little bit of sustenance, comfort food that you can add to this. So I'm going to peel the skin off, and I'm going to stick it through under a slice in the Rapid Prep mandolin, and then I'm going to go ahead and grab my Brussels sprouts out of the fridge, and we'll get those going too. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut these so that they end up on the cutting board. Turn it back to the slice and make it a little bit thinner. So again, it's 1 through 6, 1 through 8. There we go. And I want to get those going. Now you want to sweat your onions. So you want to cook your onions first for a little bit. That will help them get the moisture out. Doesn't that look pretty? If you have yellow peppers, add those in. I'm going to add a little green. I forgot to add the spinach the last breakfast I did at the very end. Okay, some Brussels sprouts, some broccoli. Whoops, there's my broccoli that I washed so nicely. Okay, back into the sink it goes. We'll wash that up again. Alright, so let's do our Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts take a little bit longer to do, like your potatoes, so I'm going to cut the ends off of them. So just the dry, hard ends, the part that normally touches the stalk. And then I'm going to observe and take a peek at some of the outer leaves. If they look like they need a little once over, we'll go ahead and add that to the compost. Hope you guys are composting for your gardens. So compost should be made up of green and browns. So when you say browns, that's your leaves. When you're raking your leaves in the fall, that is your grass clippings. You want to make sure that you have enough brown mixed in with your greens in order to get the temperature of your compost up so that it will start disintegrating the food and bringing it back into its original state. Worms are your friend. You want to make sure that if you see worms when you're, gardening or whatever, they're good for your garden. They're good for your flower bed, but they're also good for your compost. We had a tree cut not last year, I think the year before that, and we had them chip up all of the branches from our tree, and we had them put that all into a big pile, and we scooped parts of the wood chips for our compost pile, and that really helped. It was so funny because that winter, before we actually got to move the pile, in the middle of the winter with all the snow that we had, the pile looked like a little chimney of hot air smoking off of the pile because it was creating heat from composting. And all the little birds would sit on top of the pile to warm their feet. It was just adorable. So, composting helps put the nutrients back into your soil, which we need. If you've ever read the Bible, it talks about every 7 years to let the land rest. Basically let the fruit fall off the tree and rot into the ground. And the reason for that is to help add all the nutrients back into your soil. Also, some things that you may not know, but if you guys do shrimp, the shells of shrimp are really good, although, you got to be careful because when you put meat in a compost, you're going to end up, meat or fish, you're going to end up with raccoons or something. Chicken poop, if you know somebody who has chickens, you need to let the chicken poop set for 2 years because it'll burn your garden. It's really, really strong. But if you do let it sit, it adds a lot of nitrates back into the soil, which is so important. So, you know, it's the whole circle of life thing that we got going on. You got to work with nature, don't work against it. So rather than using, you know, chemicals to fortify your soil and pesticides to get rid of your bugs, you know, let's talk about different ways that you can get rid of bugs in your garden. Like there are certain plants that you can plant around your garden that will deter the bugs. It'll deter deer, all kinds of stuff like that. Like marigolds are one I know. I'll get a list for you of the plants that are good for when you're gardening. So we're doing the Brussels sprouts on a slice as well, just like the onions, because they'll come apart in rings. Good. Get that going. I'm going to add a little bit of oil and a little bit of salt and pepper. Salt helps the onions, again, to sweat the onions. Now, our electric salt and pepper grinder set came only with the Christmas roasting pan set that came out in December. I was so excited I bought a second roasting pan set just to get this. I love it. But we do have the grind ones off to the side, and I'm hoping that they'll put this into our next catalog coming out in the spring, but we don't know what's coming out in the spring yet. But I like being able to do it one-handed. So I'm just going to let this simmer and cook for a little bit. Then I will add my spinach, a handful or two of spinach because that melts down pretty quickly, and then I will do a couple of eggs in the nonstick pan to go on it, and then I'll put the leftovers into our glass leak-proof storage containers for tomorrow's breakfast. So I hope you guys have a great day. I hope your fresh and healthy journey is going well. If you need some snack ideas, I'll post a few of those as well, and I'll see y'all online. Have a great day.